MiniWarGamer Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com. Here with Tom.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome, Wargamers, to the doom of Eolicanth. This is the narrative 40k campaign that you're watching right now, episode 7. This is a rotting city. That's the name of this mission, which is pretty cool because that implies certain things that are going to happen with a certain character in the campaign and looking from the sky and seeing the veins of bloodiness, and it's going to be amazing. You'll see what I mean in the narrative story time. By the way, shout out and thanks to Miles Drake, the Black Library author, for narrating this campaign, for writing the narrative, and it has been fantastic. We are in the middle of a Black Library novel, and I'm very, very excited for that. It's just super cool. What an awesome experience. So thank you for that, Miles, and thank you guys for joining us. And if you haven't joined and watched the entire campaign in its entirety, then I encourage you to do so. That is in the MiniWarGaming Vault. You get to see all the episodes, not just the ones on YouTube. So make sure to click on the link in the video description below to watch all of the episodes in their entirety, because you can certainly binge watch. It's binge watch worthy. That's what I got to say right now. So click on the link below for that and enjoy the story time. Droning wings drowned out the screams beneath him. The Yersinia pestis carried its rider, Resheph the Alchemist, between the dilapidated, rusted hive spires. His occulobe detected the panicked heat flares of the millions of imperial citizens that flowed like congealed blood through the narrow veins of the cityscape below. Some slowed, too exhausted to continue. Others fell and were trampled by their kin. Some simply gave up, the final candle of desperation, guttering and dying as they fell to their knees to face the bloat drones that herded the crowds towards the great cauldrons. Resheph watched the flesh mower-armed demon engines mulch those who had faltered in their final pilgrimage. He goaded his rotfly downward, his fellow plague riders following atop their own noxious buzzing steeds. They soared as heralds of the end, patrolling around the things that were once the furnaces of Saint Hephaestion, his cult, and repurposed the vast ancient foundry complex long before his arrival. Buzzing low, scant meters over the heads of the roiling crowd, he saw many turn, shining in a moment of misguided hope as they heard the unfamiliar noise. A mind vexed by terror sought hope in the most bizarre of things, watching the light of hope die in their eyes when they beheld his obscene glory was inspiring. If Resheph's face had not fused to the inside of his helm millennia ago, he would have smiled. Most of those who gazed up to him and his flock of blight drones simply fell to their knees and wept, awaiting the pursuing demon engines. Resheph supposed they could consider themselves fortunate. As gruesome as their death was, it was certainly faster than those who still clung to a shred of false desperation, inspired hope that they might survive. The streets ran crimson behind him as the mass of panicked people bled off dozens of their number at a time. Some attempted to flee into buildings, and Resheph imagined that many still hid within. But hosts of plague bearers and cultists swarmed through every structure, haloed by clouds of biting corpse flies that would delve into every nook and cranny. There was no escape. Not a soul of Hive Epsilon Dominarch would escape the will of the Alchemist. Resheph looked about him, meeting the cyclopean gazes of the plague bearers that rode with him. The pus-weeping eyes were filled with reverence and adoration. Inhuman as they were, they too could see the beauty of the immense wilting of hope and life beneath them. Still, there had been complications. The loyalist maggots that had ravaged the walls had somehow vanished into the city. Epsilon Dominarch was immense, the once home of billions. There were many places to hide, but the alchemists were legion. And even now, Croesus the Serene conducted a sevenfold haruspicy ritual, reading the patterns of the moldering entrails of the city's former prime magistrates to divine the location of the loyalists that now blighted his sky. Resheph glared spitefully at the form of the Adeptus Astartes strike cruiser overhead. It was a pale comparison to the monstrously magnificent silhouette of the Locust, but its presence was enough to slow Resheph's efforts. The Death Guard couldn't expose themselves in one location for long, lest the vessel's macrocannon batteries were brought to bear upon them. It was slowing his search of the Corpse Emperor's ground forces, and worse, it was slowing the process of his grand offering. The sevenfold gate worlds would soon align. Time was of the essence. Resheph's thoughts were interrupted as a blurbling voice erupted through the corroded vox unit fused into his skull.
Most delightful of depots, tenacious of tyrants, malign upon
What?
The alchemist growled. It was the voice of the crow. The gleeful chatter of nurglings in the background made that obvious.
Why do you disturb my meditative meanderings?
Resheph demanded.
The finger bones of the Alchemist, my wondrous warlord.
The mad tallyman gurgled.
They have divined a devious plan, a ruinous retribution slated against your resplendent revelation. The cowardly curs encroach along the third radial.
The 7 radials were portions of the immense superstructures jutting from St. Hephaestion's furnace. Many of the cauldrons necessary for the grand offerings worked tirelessly within. Several of the massive throngs of herded populace were entering through the radial.
Vexation.
The alchemist hissed.
Are you certain?
As certain as the silence of life's assured cessation.
The tallyman's voice returned.
Thricefold errors on the equations tallying the progress of the cauldrons in the third radial, and the thrice-dead himself guards those cauldrons. It is a most pernicious portent. Apostastion!
He called.
It has begun.
Yes!
The degenerated voice of the plague champion returned, his enthusiasm entirely at odds with the decayed state of his body.
The mongrel lapdogs assail us, so woeful their vexations that they wish to spit themselves upon our blades.
The voice descended into mad, burbling laughter as the alchemist picked up the sound of bolter fire. Resheph had anticipated a counterattack. He'd underestimated the ferocity of the numerically inferior Space Wolf force once before. He would not do so again. Switching to a broad-beam Vox channel, heard by his entire warband, he called,
Brethren of the poisoned chalice, the mongrels come to bask in our glorious oils. Let us converge like snapping mandibles upon this incursion, and corral them in towards the cauldrons they wish to see, and so we shall show them.
Taking a look at the models that we're going to be using in this battle, starting with the Poison Chalice Detachment. Only looking at these models over here, that's a 40 power level, and this is all according to the mission parameters that Miles Drake has crafted for us. Resheph the Alchemist and the Omnivore are going to be coming on at the beginning of turn 2. I'll roll a 3+, and if I do, then they do. If I don't, then they don't. And then at the beginning of turn 3, or at turn 3 rather, then they come on automatically. Other than that, what I have in my army is the Tallyman, which is the Crow, and then I have the Zendeligax, which is a Plague Burst Crawler, the Locust Spawn, which is 2 Fetid Bloat Drones with Flesh Mowers. Then I have Knights of the Weeping Sore with Apostastion the Thrice Dead, right here, represented right there. They are a squad of Plague Marines equipped with 2 plasma guns, and then we have a Power Fist and a poisoned weapon on that champion. Upgrades that Knights of the Weeping Sore have received in this campaign include Rusted Blades, which means their Plague Knives now have an AP of -1. They also have an upgrade called Hail of Bloatflies, which means they always count as being in cover. The Zendeligax also has an upgrade from a previous battle. Actually, a couple upgrades. One is Toughness, he's now Toughness 9, and another is called Poisonous Ichor, which is unsaved wounds cause mortal wounds back on a 4+. And just to remind you guys, the Crow, my Tallyman here, he has Logistical Insanity, which says that at the start of each Death Guard turn, I'm going to roll 2d6, and on 7+, gain an additional command point. Now, when Resheph the Alchemist and the Omnivore arrive, I'm going to roll a d6, -1 to the roll, and that's how many command points I will add to my command points that I'll have. And I start the game with 3 command points as per the mission parameters. And now taking a look at the Ravensvake detachment, starting with Captain Bolverk Nagelfarsen. He will be in this battle, which is pretty exciting because we're going to have a possible matchup between Bolverk and Resheph. Now, Bolverk's upgrades include extra movement, so he's now movement 7 inches, and he also has Howl of the Blood Moon, which allows him to bring on 6 Fenrisian wolves at the cost of 1 command point, and you can do this once per battle. So that's really, really cool. Secondary HQ is a generic rune priest. He's not part of the Ravensvik detachment, but just from the Space Wolves Codex. And he is equipped with a plasma pistol, a rune staff, and for his psychic abilities, he's got Jaws of the World Wolf, Smite, Tempest Wrath. For troops, we have the Ghosts of Azaheim. Their upgrades include +1 movement for movement 7 inches and +1 leadership. So Grim Herald in this unit here, which is right there, he's got leadership 9. The special abilities of the Ghosts of Azaheim include Deadly Crossfire, which says that if they don't move or advance, they may fire their bolt guns as though they were heavy 2. Another ability includes Firing Discipline. So whenever a model in the unit rolls a 6 to wound with a bolt gun or bolt pistol, the attack gains AP -1 and deals 2 damage. Plus they have Nowhere to Hide, which states that enemy units do not gain the benefit of cover against attacks made by this unit. So the new upgrade that the Knights of the Blackened Cyst, or the Weeping Sword rather, these guys are the Weeping Sword, they don't actually gain their benefit from the Ghosts of Azaheim because they ignore their cover bonus. Next up we have the Blot, which is another troop's choice, and the Red Gothi, which is right there. He is also included in this unit. Now, their upgrades include extra movement, which is movement 7 for them, which is good. I mean, any extra movement is great. Berserk Charge, on a turn in which they make a successful charge, you can make an additional attack in the fight phase with them. So they love their close combat. Their Oath of Violence is another special ability. Whilst the Red Gothi is still alive, you can reroll failed hit rolls of 1 in the fight phase for the unit. And Mahad-Fueled Frenzy, when charging, add 2 inches to the distance charged to a maximum of 12 inches. When advancing, roll 2d6 to determine the distance and discard the lowest. So these guys are really, really ripe for the slaughter and the Corn-Fueled Rage. Heavy support, we have the Nidhogger, and his upgrade includes, no matter how far he's damaged, he always shoots at ballistic skill 3+. So he's always rolling 3+ to shoot, which is a really good thing for him. Now he does have Breath of the World Dragon, which is a special ability, and it says once per game, instead of shooting any weapons in the shooting phase, select up to 2 enemy units within 8 inches of him, and you can select a single unit for this, for both hits. Each unit selected suffers D6 Strength 5 AP 1, Damage 1 hits. If a single unit is selected for both hits, it suffers 2d6 hits instead. And last but not least, we have a unit of Swift Claws. They are from the Codex. They're not part of the Ravensvik detachment, and their war gear includes Power Axe, we have a Chain Sword, we have a Plasma Pistol, and we have an attack bike with a multi-melta. And that is the Ravensvik detachment that's represented in this battle. Taking a look at the battlefield for this mission, it's a 6x4 board. It's a massive half-ruined manufactory complex, befitted with all kinds of Adeptus Mechanicus devices and several massive chaos-looking furnace-like structures. Those are represented by these cauldrons, the yellow cauldrons. Very objective-esque of them to stand out as such. So we have 3. We have 1, 2, and 3. There should be 3 of these structures, 1 in the center of the board, and 2 others on the other side of it. Both sides will deploy along the opposing short edges of the battlefield, out to 18 inches from their respective edges. And like I said before, Resheph and his Omnivorax will be deploying with the behind enemy line special rule, possibly at the start of turn 2 and for sure at the start of turn 3. Objectives. The Ravensvik will win if they destroy all of the cauldrons by the end of turn 5. The cauldrons have 10 wounds, toughness 7, and a 3-up save. Upon being destroyed, all shots fired from within or at a target within 6 inches of the cauldron suffer -1 to hit, thanks to the noxious fumes belched by the cauldrons. The Death Guard win if they table the Space Wolves or one of the cauldrons remains by the end of turn 5. Special rules. The following rules will be in effect. Orbital Supremacy. Given that the Naglfar is now in orbit, the Space Wolves gain access to the following stratagem. For 2 command points, you may use the Macro Cannon Strike stratagem shown below. And that's what this is. So the stratagem is used during the shooting phase, and select a visible point on the battlefield. Roll d6 for every unit within 6 inches of that point. On a 3+, the unit being rolled for suffers d6 Strength 9 pen -3 wounds. This will automatically hit one of the cauldrons if it is in the area of effect, and will inflict 2d6 wounds to it instead, along with the other effects. I wonder where you're going to point your macro cannon. Taking a look at deployment, so Tom won the roll-off to see who deployed first, and he deployed first on his side here. He's surrounding this cauldron. This one in the middle is unoccupied, not protected by anybody, and this one over here is moderately protected by me. And I say moderately because of his macro cannon. I don't want other units to be within 6 inches of any cauldron, because these are automatically hit by the macro cannon, and they are not only are my units hit, but it can also be hit, and that is a lot of hits on the cauldron, auto hits, mind you. So that's why they're slightly away from it. But we have the Knights of the Weeping Sore, and then we have the Locust Spawn, the Zandalagax, and the Crow over here on this side. And then over on here side, we have your Ghost of Azahheim, the Blot, and we have your Nidhogger. And in reserve, let's see, in reserve you got your bikes. We have Bolverk, and actually, where's your Rune Priest? Is he there too? He's right there. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to roll to see who actually goes first. I get to add 1 to this because I finished my drops first. Okay, so I'm going to choose to go first. I think that's wise.
I'll attempt to seize.
All right, attempt to seize. And no. Special thanks to GameMat.eu for providing these terrain pieces, plus the gaming mat that you're looking at right now. We also have pieces from Greenleaf Terrain, and we have pieces from Games Workshop. Start at the Death Guard turn 1 here. I'm going to roll for Logistical Insanity for the Crow. So that's 2d6. If I roll a 7 or higher, I gain a command point. And I get a 5, no command point gained. Movement phase, I'm going to move up my Locust Spawn. Move plus advance. An inch. I'm going to move them up so that they can protect some of these other objectives here. Now for the Knights of the Weeping Sore, I'm going to move plus advance them as well. Okay, 4. Advancing along the catwalk. The Locust Spawn. I have a special rule here. Parasitic hosts. Once per game, at the end of the movement phase, this unit may deploy a unit of 4 eye stinger swarms within 3 inches of one of the Locust Spawn models. These eye stingers may not deploy within 3 inches of an enemy model. And I'll deploy them up right there. I love it! See, this is the type of flavor that I relish in these types of campaigns. I love it. Now on to the shooting phase, starting with the Zandalagax. I'm going to be shooting his massive cannon that does not need line of sight. Who should I target? For his mortar, it is a 4 up to hit, and it's only 1 attack. That is a miss. I'm going to use a command point and reroll that. That is a miss. I am going to be down 1 command point. But I get to roll 2 dice as per the ability of the Crow, which allows me to regain this command point should I roll a 7 or higher. It looks like I regained that command point. And just to make a little correction there, his ability, I have to roll a 7 exactly, not a 7 or higher. And I happen to roll a 7 exactly, so I kind of lucked out there. Well, I definitely lucked out. I did luck out. Let's get this straight. That is the end of my turn. Nothing really happened to my side, just advanced up. Now it is the Ravensvik turn. Ravensvik, turn 1, starting with the Ghosts of Azahheim here. You're going to move and advance them up. Now they move 7 inches because of their upgrades, and you're going to go d6 for their advance. Another, very good. 13 in total. And Zea, very close. Now for your Psyker, your Rune Priest.
Here.
Just moving them up to the corner so you can gain line of sight onto stuff. Now onto the Psychic phase, starting with the Rune Priest here. You're going to use Smite, and you're going to try to target that cauldron. Looking for a 5. Getting an 8. D3 mortal wounds. 3. That's a good start. So it's 10 down to 7 wounds. 7 wounds left. Oh, look at that go. It's cool. It's like aliens. On to the shooting phase now. Again with the Rune Priest, you're going to go ahead and supercharge his plasma pistol. Okay, so hitting on a 3. And you get a 3. It's a hit. Strength 8, toughness 7, wounding on a 3. Oh, do you want a command point there?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the Blot. First guy's going to throw a crack grenade, hitting on a 3. That's a hit. And wounding on a 5. Not a wound. So just double checking this unit. They are actually blood claws, so they hit on 4s, not 3s, but the crack grenade didn't wound anyway. 14 bolt pistol shots, hitting on 4s. Wounding on 5s. 4 3-up saves. 1 goes through. Down to 6 wounds on this first cauldron. Onto the Ghosts of Azahheim. So they have a special ability that allows them to advance and shoot. And they also have another ability called the Firing Discipline, which allows them a better AP and damage on their shots. Now the Ghosts of Azahheim are Grey Hunters, so they're hitting on 3s. Wounding on 5s. 6s are AP -1 and 2 damage. Oh, I see a couple 6s in there. 4 wounds in total. 2 of them are 6s. I'm going to go for the regular wounds here, so 3 up. Save them both. And the other ones are 4+. 1 goes through for 2 damage. This cauldron is down to 8 wounds. Nidhogger now is going to fire his weapons at the far cauldron, the far end of the battlefield. Nidhogger always hits on 3s, so hitting on 3s. So 2 shots with blast cannons, getting 2 hits. Strength 9, toughness 7, wounding on 3s. And okay, 1 wound. Do you want
spend a command
point? Okay, that's probably wise. So you're going to spend a command point, and just a thing of note, you start with 5 command points as per the mission parameters. I started with 3, but I get to add more later when I come on. So okay, so let's see if you get a. That's a wound. It was worth it. 6-up save now because you're -3 on that. Okay, they both go through. You have 2d6 damage. You could possibly destroy it here. You just need 10 or higher. Getting 3. This is where we get your reaction, because...
Oh no!
Now it's time for the macro cannon strike. So, Tom, you are invoking this. So you're choosing this spot on the battlefield. And so anything within 6 inches of that point is hit. So you automatically hit the cauldron. Mm-hmm. And on a 3+, you hit the Zendeligax.
So I'll roll for Zendeligax.
So you hit it. Now the cauldron, which is automatically hit, it has 2d6 wounds inflicted on it instead. So here we go. That's 7. Okay, it's very nurgly. So 7, that's not bad at all. Very nurgly, very symbolic. So it's -3 AP. So I still get a 6-up save on this. And let's see what happens. So it's a 3-up to wound. We just realized that wound roll still need... It automatically hits it, but it doesn't automatically wound it. So it's a 3+ to wound it, because you're strength 9. And that is 6 wounds. And -3 AP. 6-up save. None. So he is down to 1 wound left. So you already rolled to hit the Zendeligax. Now rolling how many wounds you got. That's 3. Strength 9, toughness 9 because of my upgrade. So wounding on 4s here. 2 wounds. I have a 5-up involunted. Made 1. And disgustingly resilient. Failed. So he's down 1. Now for the Blot. You are going to charge that cauldron and try to destroy it to pieces in hand-to-hand combat. And because of your special upgrade, you get, or your ability, you get 2 inches to your charge here. Because the Blot is the Blot, and they love close combat. 10, and you're adding 2 to that, so 12 inches. That is certainly enough to get everyone in base contact, or base contact with the guys in base contact. So everyone is now fighting with their extra attacks as well because of your Berserk special rule. Starting with the Red Gothy. You got 5 attacks with him now, and you're hitting on 3s. re-rolling 1s because of his Crozius Arcanum. Or his ability, rather. And so that's 5 hits. And wounding this cauldron on 5s. Getting nothing. The rest of the blot, you have 3 attacks each, and there's 14 of them. You got 42 attacks coming our way. And we're hitting on 3s now?
Rerolling once.
Re-rolling 1s because of the red Gothy. That's lovely. I love it. And the corn in me loves this. So let's see how many attacks you get. Woo!
4, 3,
You got
4,
8
5.
misses here. So let's see if you can make them hits. Majority of them. 5s to wound. You got 11 wounds there. So I'm going to roll my 3-up saves. And there's 6 wounds left in the cauldron. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. 1 wound.
Okay, it happens.
That is the end of the Ravensvake turn 1. A lot was accomplished during that turn. This cauldron on this side that's surrounded by the blot brought it down to 5 wounds from 10. The cauldron in the middle, a little bit less with 8 wounds remaining. And then the cauldron on the far side reduced to 1 wound left. I mean, that was very, very close. And so there's a little bit of a concern here for the poison chalice. They're looking at these cauldrons. They don't want them to explode or be destroyed by these pesky wolves, so they're going to retaliate in kind. Beginning of Death Guard turn 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll for Resheph and the Omnivorax to see if they come on. It's on a 3+. If not, it's automatic on the third turn. So here we go. They're coming on. Before I place those guys, though, I'm going to roll for the Crow's ability to gain extra command points. I need to roll 7 or greater for this. And I get an 11. I gain an extra, up to 4. And as per the mission parameters, when Resheph comes in with the Omnivorax, I'm going to roll d6 -1 to add that many command points. So 3 extra command points for a total of 7. Oh, Nurgle wants it! Just to show where Resheph the Alchemist and the Omnivorax are being deployed, I'm going just outside of 9 inches away from your blot and within 6 inches of table edge. So here we go. Right there in anticipation for the assault, because it does state that when you pick a point, units, not just my units, but units within 6 inches are hit with that macro cannon. So to deter this, because I'm not sure you're going to want to kill your own guys. I don't know, maybe you would, but probably not. So we'll see. I'm willing to take that gamble. The sound of droning wings and discordant pipes drew the attention of the Space Wolf attackers. Silhouetted in the smoky, glowing haze of the dying sunlight, a flock of winged insectoid horrors descended.
Have you come to gaze upon my most sublime of creations?
The hideous voice of the alchemist roared across the battlefield, linked directly into the Voxcasters, hung from many of the structures.
Have you come to bask in the wilting aura the world pox has gifted us?
He gestured towards the great machines, the cauldrons belching vile fumes. The devices seemed to scream.
Come, lapdogs of the carrion throne, witness the final purpose of Epsilon Dominarch, for proudly it has labored to bestow upon us this offering of flesh and soul.
Moving on to the rest of the movement for my guys, starting with the Locust spawn, they see the threat of these ghosts of Azalheim. They're going to be moving towards the center objective, because that cauldron needs to be protected. There's only 8 wounds left on it. So I've done some pre-measuring here. The Locust spawn need a 9-inch charge to get these, the Ghosts of Azalheim. Knights of the Weeping Sword will just drop down. Moving on to the Eye Stinger Swarm, they move 10 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and move them as well. I'm going to start shooting with the Zendelegax. I actually made a mistake last time with the weapons. I mixed up the Entropy Cannon with the Mortar, so I'm going to get that right this time. I'm going to target the Ghosts of Azalheim. They are within 36 inches. Starting with the Entropy Cannon, which is 36 inches, I'm going to be hitting once here on a 4+ because I didn't move. That is a miss. And Plague Burst Mortar, which is heavy d6. Getting a 2, okay. 4 is to hit. And that's 1 hit. A 2 to wound because of Strength 8. And And I get a wound. Wow, lots of 2s there. -2 for a 5-up save. And one guy goes. It's D3 damage, but it doesn't matter because that'll kill the guy. The Knights of the Weeping Sword will fire at your Ghost of Azahheim. I'm not going to supercharge my plasmas, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll that right now. 3 up. So that's 1 hit, and I'm wounding on a 3. That's a wound. 6-up save. And 1 more dead. You don't have to remove the guys in the front and negate my charge for my Plague Burst Caller.
I have to.
Or my my Fetid Blow Drones. 4 bolter shots now, hitting on 3s and wounding on 4s. Getting 2. 2 3-up saves. Oh, okay.
IJ!
Both bolter shots go through. Now here over on this side with Resheph the Alchemist, he's going to fire his World Pox Emulsifier at the unit of the Blot. This is Assault D6 for this, getting 1.
Hi, Jay!
Jay, it's the wrong time to look at the battle. I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll that. Let's see if I get the command point back. I got to roll a 7 exactly. I got a 6.
Okay.
And now here is the re-roll. What is
Bye, Jay!
Oh, come on, Jay, come on. That's not right. I think you enjoyed it too much. And I apologize for you guys who are wearing headphones. I may have yelled loudly into the camera. So I hit on a 3. And I wound on a 3 because of strength 5. So there you go. There's a wound. -1 for a 4-up save. And 1 dies. Would you look at that? Don't negate my wound. I mean, my charge. Okay, I think that's good. Now the Omnivore is going to shoot their death's heads at him. There's only one that's actually in range because it's 12 inches. And I need a 4 to hit the Blot. Oh, would you look at that? I see how that works. On to the charge phase now. The Locust Spawn, declaring the Ghost of Azahheim as a unit to charge. You're going to Overwatch, Overwatch with your rapid-firing bolters. There's only one that's in range, so here we go with 7 shots. Hitting on 6s, getting 1. Wounding on a 6. I'm toughness 9 due to my upgrade. That's a nada. I need 11 inches for this charge. Okay, I believe in you, dice. Getting an 8. Well, Korn wanted it, but not badly enough. Now for my Eye Stinger Swarm. You can Overwatch them as well, because they're going to try to charge you. Yep. And hitting on 6s with your 7 shots. That's 3. Strength 4, toughness 2. You're wounding on 2s. 3 wounds. So these Eye Stingers are each touching this terrain, which means that they are each in cover. So their 7-up goes to a 6-up. So I'm going to roll that. At least they get something. Nope, 3 of them die. And now to charge you, I need 9 inches. And I get a 9. Okay, so he's in. Bink! So over on this side of the battlefield, which Resheph and the Omnivore, I am not going to assault the Blot. I was going to at first, but just realized if the Omnivore make it into combat, then Resheph is all by his lonesome, and he's too far to charge in as well. So I'm going to have to utilize all this movement next round and keep these guys here as the imminent threat. Now on to the assault. Look at this, Eye Stinger Swarm. I'm going to hit you first. I get D3 attacks. Okay, that's 1. Spend a command point? Nope. And I'm going to hit you on a 4. On a 6 is an automatic wound, so that's a hit.
4.
Now wounding you. That's a wound. Scratch that. That's not a wound. I needed a 6. These flies are definitely a buzzing nuisance more than anything else. And on that note, I'm just going to go ahead and remove him because he's got a 7-up save. And the chances of you failing everything with your lot of attacks, pretty slim. Morale phase. Ghost of Azahheim need to take the leadership because I lost 4 guys. They're leadership 9 though because of an upgrade, so if you roll a 6, you lose another guy. Nope, you're fine. Actually, before we move on to your turn 2, the Blot get to attack this cauldron again. So let's go ahead and do that first. Starting with the Red Gothy with 4 attacks now, because he didn't charge. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. That's 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1. -1, 4-up save. Saved. For the rest of the Blot, they have 28 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. 3 rerolls. All hits. And now 5s to wound. 4 3-up saves. Failing 1. Same as last time when I got 11 wounds. Interesting. So down to what? 4 wounds? Ravensvik turn 2. Starting with the Ghosts of Azahheim. Gonna move them somewhere. My guess is that you're gonna move them closer to the objective. That just makes sense to me. Unless you want to keep them where they are. I'm okay with this. So they're just gonna simply move up. Because you have plans to assault the cauldron. They have extra movement, don't they?
Yeah, moving to 7.
Due to an upgrade. Rune Priest is gonna move. And bringing him back a little bit. End of your movement now. Bringing Bolverk onto the battlefield. You're outside of 9 inches away from my Omnivorax.
My bikes will stay in reserve.
And within 3 of the table edge. So you're just going to keep your bikes in reserve?
Yep.
Okay. On to the psychic phase. Rune Priest is going to smite the cauldron. Looking for a 5 or greater. Getting a 6. D3 mortal wounds. That's 2. Bringing it down to 2 wounds left. Now, your Rune Priest is going to try to do Tempest Wrath on my Omnivorax.
Yes.
So you need a 6. That's an 11. You make it. And that's now -1 for these guys to shoot and to hit in close combat. That's a big deal. Shooting phase. Plasma Pistol on the Rune Priest. He's going to supercharge it. Needing a what to hit? 3?
3.
Okay. That's a miss.
Miss.
Command point?
Yeah.
The Blot. You're going to use a crack grenade. One of the guys is going to try to chuck it into the cauldron. See if you can hit with it. That's a 4 to hit. Scratch that. They're in close combat with it, so you can only shoot pistols.
I want to fire 15 bolt pistols.
15 bolt pistols it is. Hitting on 4s. Wounding on 5s. 3 wounds. 3-up save. Failed 1. Down to 1 wound on the cauldron. The Nidhogger is going to fire his last cannons into the far cauldron that has only 1 wound left. 2 shots hitting on 3s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. That's a wound. 6-up save. If I fail this, he dies automatically. Oh, that's a 6. That is a 6.
Blowing ones.
Bolverk now. He's going to chuck a crack grenade at this cauldron. Hitting on a 2. That's a hit. And wounding on a 5. That's nothing. Now the Ghosts of Azahheim are going to take their shots into this cauldron in the middle that has 8 wounds left. You are hitting on 3s with these guys.
Yep.
Wounding on 5s. Nada.
Nothing.
And now you're going to spend your last 2 command points for your macro cannon, and you're going to choose this spot, which is right there, and Knights of the Weeping Sore, my locust spawn, and this cauldron are within 6 inches of it. You automatically hit the cauldron, and you inflict 2d6 wounds on it.
Here's the
2d6 wounds on the cauldron, getting 6. 3s to wound. Okay, get 4.
4.
6-up save. Getting none, so that's 4 wounds taken off. This cauldron is now down to 4 wounds. 3 up to hit the locust spawn. That's a hit. D6 now. Okay, so you get looking at 3.
3 strength 9, toughness 9, wounding on 4s.
Wounding on 4s because it's strength 9, toughness 9. That's 1.
1.
Invuln save, 5 up. Disgustingly resilient. 5 up. Made it. Knights of the Weeping Sore, 3 up. You missed them. On to the charge phase. Bolverk is going to try to charge this cauldron. You need 3 inches, so Snake Eyes! No, you're in. Ghosts of Azahheim are within a couple inches of this cauldron, so you're going to roll their charge. Yeah, you can get them all in with that. Starting with Bolverk, he's going to try to hit this cauldron and destroy it. Now, he has 5 attack space, plus D3 because of his Berserk special rule. So let's see how many additional he gets. That's another 3. That's good. For 8 in total because Khorne wants it. The Black Axes of Suture. That's what he's wielding right now. He's hitting on 2s with these. Rerolling his 1s because he is a Capitan. So rerolling this, he's got a couple 1s there. He'll probably get hits. Yeah, so that's 8 hits. Your 5s to wound. Getting 2. So you're -3 with your Axes of Suture, so I need 6 up for this. I gotta roll boxcars to save this cauldron. Oh, wait, I can command point that, which I will. Just because, why not, right? Just because. Let's see if I can do that. No!
I don't think it blows
On a
up
roll
this.
of a 7, I get to not actually spend
Yes.
this. No, so I do spend that command point. And this cauldron is destroyed. As the cauldron's metal flank sheared open, a vile flood of grotesque liquid spilled out. The Ravensvake warrior saw the half-dissolved remains of hundreds of people slide across the stonework below, as the revolting ooze seemed to flash to steam upon exposure to the air. Clouds of noxious fumes billowed skywards, and for brief moments the Space Marines thought they could see shapes in the smoke. Grasping imperial hands, fingers clawed in agony, faces distorted, screaming, eyes pleading, terrified. With revolting revelation, the nearby Space Wolves also noticed the movement in the half-molten people spilled across the flagstones. While many were certainly dead, others grasped out, feebly attempting to crawl from the vile, amniotic ooze. Insidious vapors erupted from their mouths, and from the molten eyes, joining the billowing smoke above. Souls like water. Jade Caraziel's voice cut through the vox from elsewhere on the battlefield. Souls like fog. Her words were strained, pained. For even where she stood, the release of psychic energy, the miasma of escaping souls in mid-transformation presented a palpable shudder of agony. Buckling, she forced the sensations away. Destroy those things! Whatever vile sorcery the traitors are using them must be stopped. For the good of all that is holy. She returned her mind to the future, so that she might coordinate her allies' assault. So the Space Wolves heard the voice of Jade Caraziel over the Vox, and they shall beckon to her command to destroy the rest of these cauldrons. There's 2 left. Can they do it in time, or will they be met with the fury of the Death Guard? Going on to the Ghost of Azahheim, attacking this cauldron with only 4 wounds left. If they don't take it out, there's a good chance that these flesh mowers are just going to maw right through them. 2 attacks apiece for a total of 12 attacks onto the cauldron, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 5s. 5 wounds, 3 up save. 1 goes through.
3s.
Now for the last cauldron. Only has 1 wound left, but the Red Gothy will attack with his 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. Rerolling that 1 there. Getting 2 hits so far. 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. That's 1 wound.
Minus.
50-50 chance right here. 4 up save. And the cauldron goes down. And as per the mission parameters, these cauldrons, when they are destroyed, units within 6 inches of them are -1 to hit them. So it's going to be double hard for the Omnivorax to hit the blot because they're already Tempest Wrathed. Beginning of the turn, rolling for the crow, see if I get extra command points, 7+. I do again. Excellent. Going on to the movement phase, I'm going to move my Locust Spawn over here. Oh, wait. That might be unwise because look. Yeah. You know what? No. Not afraid of him. I'm going to go like this because I'm in close combat. So, there you go. Now on to the Omnivorax. They're going to move. Resheph will move up as well. coming over to this side of the battlefield. I'm going to go ahead and move my Knights of the Weeping Sword over in this direction. They're going to attack Bolveric. They're going to be brave. See if they can actually survive a round of his attacks. And now they have moved up.
Yep.
The Crow will move out here. Zendelagax is going to move over here. Entropy Cannon first. I'm going to fire at Bolveric. You know, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to do that. With everything, I think that makes the most sense here. So that's one shot. Hitting on a 6, because of the mission parameters, it is -1 hit you because I'm within 6 of this cauldron. Plus I moved, so here we go. It's not a 6. Plague Burst Mortar, heavy D6. Getting us. There's my 6. That's hitting on 6s.
Yes.
Getting nothing. Wrath Volley cannons. There's 2 of them, so 12 shots. Hitting on 6s. 3. Let's back up a second. That's heavy 3 times 2, not heavy 6 times 2. That'd be really, really powerful. So I'm just going to reroll that. So hitting on 6s, nothing. I think that will learn me. The Crow will now fire at you. I'm going to fire at you. I'm going to supercharge my plasma pistol because it's -1 to hit you. So 1s and 2s, I get hit and I die. That's a 2. But I'm going to spend a command point and reroll that. And he's going to kill himself. And that's a good reaction. I think you like it. I think life is good for you.
Before he dies, roll on a 7, you would have got the command point back.
Oh, that's true. Let's see. Let's see if he actually gets that back. Oh, no, I don't. Knights of the Weeping Sword, they're going to follow suit, supercharge their guns, starting with one of these guys, hitting on 3s. That's 2 hits. And wounding on 2s. That's 2 wounds. Nice. So I actually would have been hitting you on 3s because of the mission parameter, but I rolled 4+ for both. So that is still 2 wounds. So it is a 4 to hit. I'm going to roll for the second guy as well. Okay, so that's 1 hit out of there, and I'm going to supercharge the gun on Apostasian, the thrice dead. Okay, Mr. Apostasian, he is quattro dead. So now rolling to wound for this single shot. And that is a wound, because it's 2 to wound. So you got 3 wounds here. So you got a 4-pin save because of your Belt of Garmir. So 1 goes through for 2 damage.
I take it.
Now throwing a crack grenade at you.
Missed.
That is a miss. 8 bolter shots now hitting on 4s. Would you look at that? That's excellent. Wounding on 4s. Can I do the same thing? Okay, well, wow. Wow. 4 2-up saves. Come on, Jay, bring your whole family. Whoa, okay, 2 1s there. So he's down by 2 more. This is crazy. Over on this side of the battlefield, let's start with Resheph. He's going to be shooting his Whirl Pox Emulsifier. It is a Salty 6. He's targeting the blot. 3. My regular 3 to hit is a 4 to hit now because of the cauldron. It's been destroyed. So that's 1 hit. 3 to wound you. That's a nothing. And now for the Death's Heads from the Omnivorax, targeting the blot. Now they need 6s to hit here because of the -1 for the cauldron plus the Tempest Wrath. So here we go. Oh, look at that. That's a good amount of hits. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because they are plague weapons. So getting 4 wounds. 3-up saves. Made them all. Now for the charge phase, the Omnivorax, they're going to declare assault against the Blot and the Rune Priest. And so you're going to overwatch with the Plasma Pistol on the Rune Priest first. Are you going to supercharge it?
Yes.
All right. Getting a 6 and needing a 1. No, I said that opposite, but I'm happy. Oh my goodness, that actually worked to your advantage. And now for the Blot with their bolt pistols, 15 shots hitting on 6s. Getting 1. Wounding on a 5. That's not a wound. Rolling for the charge. Getting a 3. So that's really not much of anything, so I'm going to just fly in here and hope to kill you. And I might as well roll for Resheph as well. He gets a 5. He's not quite close enough to get in. He's blocked by his own guys. The Locust Spawn now are going to charge the Ghosts of Azahheim. You're going to rapid fire your bolter, so 6s to hit. 3.
3.
5s to wound me. And you're looking for 6s. So you got 1 wound. 3-up save. Made it. And I think I'm in with a 6.
Okay. Oh, I rolled over here for you.
So over here, we have the Knights of the Weeping Sword. They're going to be charging Bolverk. And overwatching with a frag grenade. Okay. 5. Okay, that's what you want. And, okay, that's 2 hits. 5s to wound. 1 wound. And a save. Made it. And the charge. Oh.
Hi, Jay!
Okay, this is where we re-roll some dice here, okay? Command point re-roll. Okay, I make it. Starting the combat now. With the Locust Spawn, they have an upgrade, the Toxic Fog, which states that when they charge into combat, they can roll a d6, and that's a 6. It's perfect. So that's that many models are hit with a Strength 4 minus AP 1 hit, or hits.
2 wounds.
Minus 1 AP, so 2 4-up saves. Perfect! Uno, a dos.
Only because they're plague weapons.
So, for the Flesh Mower attacks, I get 6 additional, addition to my 3, so this is pretty sweet. So I'm hitting you on 4s for a total of 18 attacks between the 2 models. And I'm wounding on 2s, re-rolling 1s because they're plague weapons. So let's re-roll that 1 there. For a total of 7, because Nurgle loves it!
2.
Minus 2 on these, so 7 5-up saves. And that is the rest of them. The Ghosts of Azahheim become ghosts once again. And I'm going to move 3 inches closer to you, meaning the Nidhogger. Omnivorax versus the Blot. Starting with just the Plague Drone attacks, hitting on... That's going to be hitting on 6s, because I am within range of the Cauldron once again, and they are Tempest Wrath. So 6s. 1. Now each one is armed with a plague sword, so I need to wound you on 4s, and that is a rerollable roll. That is a wound now. 3-up save. Saved. Now for the probe assist attacks, I get 4 each times 6, so it's 24, but I'm still hitting you on 6s. Out of all the rolling, only 3. Wounding on 4s, rerollable. Rerolling those 2 misses. Okay, so that's 3 wounds. 3-up save. Fail 1.
Okay.
1 blot dies. And now, against Bolverk, we got the Knights of the Weeping Sword. They're going to pile in. Starting with the Plague Marine with the Power Fist. He's only 1 attack. Just the regular Plague Marine. So, I am going to hit you. So I'm minus 1 to hit you. Plus minus 1 because it's Power Fist. So that's going to be on a 5. Oh, that was going to be a 6. It would have been additional. Now for the rest of the knights, hitting on 4s instead of 3s. And those 6s are blessed goodness, because it's an additional hit. 3 hits, and I am 4s to wound you. Okay, they are plague weapons. I can reroll once. Okay, so that's only 1 wound. So it's minus 1.
So,
3 up.
3 up.
And you save it. And now for your attacks, going with Bolverk, he's hitting on 3s instead of 2s because he's also within range of this cauldron. And rerolling 1s. So you get a 1 in there. You get 2 2s though. So that's 3 hits. Strength 6, toughness 5, wounding on 3s. Getting 1 wound.
And a 6-up.
6-up save. No. 2 damage, so 2 disgustingly resilient rolls. So 1 guy dice.
Yep.
And, yeah, let's take him out. Now the Blot, hitting back the Omnivorax, starting with the red Gothy. He's got 4 attacks, hitting on 4s instead of 3s, rerolling 1s.
Strength 5, toughness 5, wounding up for 4s.
So your strength 5 versus my toughness 5, so your 4s to wound. Getting 1.
And minus 1.
That's a 5-up demon save. Fail.
And I make 2 disgusting.
2 damage. Oh, Jay. Now the rest of the plot, hitting back, hitting on 4s instead of 3s.
Rolling ones.
Rerolling 1s, thanks to the red Gothy. Strength 4, toughness 5, wounding on 5s. Getting 2. 2 5-up saves. Made them both.
Nice.
Turn 3 for the Ravensvake. You're going to move your Nidhogger up. It's got a 12-inch. So you put him in line of sight of that cauldron. Very smart. And you're bringing your bikes in from reserve. So there are your beautiful bikes. I love these guys. They are so beautifully painted. On to the shooting phase, starting with the attack bike in his multi-melta. You're going to target the locust spawn. However...
Actually, they're not... It's only still a 5 because that one's not blown up yet.
Yeah, we did some calculations off screen. So yeah, you are a 5 to hit me. Normally a 3, but you moved, and it's a heavy weapon. And also, they have their Cloud of Fly special rule, which is -1 to hit them. So you are a 5 to hit me. Miss. Hitting on 4s for these guys, for the bolter shots.
These are misses. Miss.
If I didn't mention already that the bolter shots are going to be firing at the locust spawn. Wounding on 5s because it's toughness 7. Getting 3. Actually 4. There's another 6 in there. So 3-up saves. Okay, alright. I'll accept it. Now for the Nidhogger. This could be it. So don't look at the timestamp for the rest of the video to see how long it is, because that might determine if you blow it up. So you're targeting the cauldron with 3 wounds left with the Nidhogger's blast cannons. You got 2 shots here. You're hitting on 4s because you moved. That's a hit and a hit. That's 2 hits. And now wounding on 3s. So this could be it. So
2 wounds.
2 wounds.
2 6-ups you need.
So 6-up save. Are you ready? Okay, 1. So 1 goes through. Oh wait, I'll spend a command point because it's the game 1. So I'll do that. Spend a command point. No. And now it's a 50-50 because if you roll 4 up, then I'm dead. Actually, heck, no, it's 3. It's better than a 50-50. Yeah, it's 2/3 here. Get a 1 or a 2. That's a 6. And you destroy it, and that is a Space Wolf victory. Epic handshake. Destroying the vile furnaces, the Space Wolves had no time to investigate the demon-infused engines before waves of Death Guard began swarming in from the flanks. Sounding a withdrawal, the Ravensvake would have to savor their victory, knowing that the damage they caused would undoubtedly slow the alchemist's progress. Whatever vile concoction the Death Guard were brewing with the liquefied flesh and souls of Epsilon Dominarch's population, the Space Wolves would be prepared to end it. Retreating back into the dark, cavernous reaches of the lower hive, the Space Wolves all but disappeared, as the repeated macro-cannon fire from the orbiting Naglfar made the Death Guard pursuit all but fruitless. Now rolling for unit upgrades and possible damage and or death. The only damage I need to roll for is the Crow, because he's the only one that was taken out this game. Rolling a d12, gets a 10, which is Pain is Wisdom. Gain the effect of quick recovery, and this unit may receive an upgrade as though it survived the mission. Perfect, as he's gibbering in his book. Okay, let's backtrack for a second. I kind of misread that. It's only quick recovery. It's not Pain is Wisdom. So basically, he recovers well enough and can be used during the next battle without any penalties. I need to roll a 12 exactly to be able to roll for the upgrade. Rolling for Resheph the Alchemist. He already has 2 upgrades, so he is now advanced in his upgrade capability. I'm rolling a d8 to see what he gets this time. Getting a 2, Weeping Rustblade. Increase the AP of this unit's Plague Knife to -3. And I actually already got that upgrade. So I'm going to re-roll it as per the parameters. Getting a 6, Demonic Aura. Gain 5-up invuln save. Now rolling for the Omnivore Axe. Rolling a d6 for these guys. Getting a 3, which is Weeping Weapons. The unit's improvised weapons gain the Plague Weapon special rule. Which kind of sucks. They already had that. The Locust Spawn rolling for their upgrade. Let's see what we get. It's a 5. And that says fungoid growths. Add 1 to this unit's toughness characteristic. Now rolling for the Zundaligax. Getting a 2. Ravenous Hunger. Add 1 to this unit's attack characteristic. If this upgrade is rolled for him, it improves its weapon skill by 1 as well. Wow. Him as in the Zundaligax.
Nice.
And now for Knights of the Weeping Sore. It's a D8 for these guys because it's their 3rd upgrade. Getting a 5, which is Halo of Bloatflies. Already has this, so I'm going to re-roll. Getting a 6. True Grit. This unit may fire its bolt guns in close combat as though they were Pistol 2 weapons.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Pistol 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 shots in close combat. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Now on to the Ravensvake detachment. Your Ghosts of Azaheim died in this battle, so you got to roll on the death chart for them. On a 1 or a 2, they are dead. This unit is completely wiped out, may no longer be fielded. Wow. So they gave the ultimate sacrifice, which is, I mean, you are victorious in this mission, so it was worth it. Now rolling for an upgrade on the Blot. They currently have 1 upgrade, extra movement. Let's see what else they get. Rolling a d6 for them. That is Fearless Warriors. This unit gains +1 leadership. Now rolling for Bolvark. He's rolling a d8 on his chart, getting a 7, which is Hunter of Champions. When attacking an enemy character in the fight phase, you may reroll all failed hit rolls. Not just hit rolls of 1.
That's pretty cool.
But you're hitting on 2s anyway.
Yeah, that's still pretty cool.
And now rolling for the Nidhogger, which is the 2nd upgrade, yes?
Yep.
Okay, let's see what he gets. Getting a 5. Extra armor plating. This unit has a 2-up armor save. Wow.